Howdy and welcome to Dakota's Projects. It's the big day. We're going to be planting today. So, well, at least we're going to prep for planting. I don't know if we'll actually get in the field. It's actually pretty chilly out too, but got a half day off of work. We're going to spend the remainder of the morning and the afternoon kind of cleaning out the shed and getting at the planter, which is tucked way in the back. Get the truck out of the way. We got to move Jaden's horse trailer maybe. I think we can squeak it out there. And I gotta move the 656 and then make sure everything's all greased up, air up the tires, and get her hooked up. I know I had mentioned in the last video that I've never planted with the Magnum before, but I got some flat tires and a mess to deal with on my 986, which is what I normally plant with. So I gotta yank the wiring and the monitor out of there. So got a few things to cross off the list, but it should be a good day. So after a little messing around, I got the hydraulics all straightened out. So basically, this is an air planter, so it's actually ran off of an air pump. So this International 900 cycle air planter came with two different types of pumps. One is a PTO driven air pump and one is a hydraulic. This is a hydraulic pump planter. So basically I'm gonna have one remote on the tractor itself running at all times. Pushing this pump to get air into the system, and then it needs to have a return. So instead of running it through the valve, that creates a lot of heat. I like to put it back in the drain. So I just put this right in here. I'm gonna end up having to block this off a little better because obviously I don't want any dirt going in there because that's my hydraulic reservoir. And then I have the other two, that's gonna be in my primary one. So when that's running all the time, my second remote is gonna be what raises and lowers the planter itself. So that's going to be these two right here. So what I'm going to do now, just to kind of go over everything, is I'm going to take the locks out. So I already lifted the planter up off the locks. And basically there's these guys here that just sit on the cylinder. And I'm going to take those blocks out so that I can drop the planter down and get to a working height with everything. But I pressure washed this planter and did everything before I put it away. However, I am going to grease everything again and give it a one last look over here. Well, I was going to give this thing a look over, but I just can't deal with how covered in dust and cobwebs everything is, including the tractor after all the tillage. So I'm going to pull this up in front of the shop and give it a quick pressure wash job, try and clean some of this stuff off, and then we'll get to greasing. Well, we're getting close, but we're not done yet. I did go through and I took all the end caps off these roll cleaners or roll closers, those little bitty wheels. So kind of a pain in the butt. I wrecked some of the caps. I'm gonna have to go buy a couple of those, but we just packed them with grease, got them all to spin freely and stuff like that. The next step is going to be to check the air pressure in all the tires. Now obviously they look good, and normally you think a piece of equipment is totally fine as long as they look good and whatever, but it's very important to check your tire pressure. because ultimately this is a ground-driven planter, and the amount of rotations on your tire is dictated by how much air is in there, and that's what drives the transmission, which is in the middle, which dictates your population. So it's very important to make sure that your tire pressure is set to the manufacturer's spec. All right, so now I got the tire pressures all adjusted where they should be. They were all within a pound or two, so not too bad. That thing's automatic, so it just shuts off. So what I'm doing now is throwing the drive chains on. So the last time I planted corn, that was the last thing I planted last year. So the transmission should be set up. I have the correct drum on there for the right crop. I got, obviously, like I said, corn, population set. But I did take the drive chains off because I did the rental ground last year. So then I don't like to have those drive chains on when I'm doing a lot of road time. So I'm putting those back on now. I'm going to take the tension, or put tension back on them. Give everything a good lube on all the glides and tighteners, and then we got everything on the planter done. We'll have to do the monitor next. All right, so the final thing we're gonna do to the I guess the mechanical parts of the planter that we're gonna check over is I took the seed drum off. So what happens is it builds pressure, like I said, off that vacuum pump, and it's pushing air into the whole seed box and to the seed drum itself, and then it forces the seeds into each of these little holes. And then once it goes around, there's a little rubber roller here with this is a 6 row, so 6 of these like round sections that come over, and it blocks the air off and it drops the seed into the rows, and that's what gives you the population. So as I'm driving, what's happening is this thing is turning. So either way, you have to spray a dry lubricant on the on the surface where this thing is going to ride, so that you prevent any air leaks. All right, so as previously stated, the 986 has some flat tire leaky issues that we're going to have to attend to later. Obviously I could have somebody come out and throw a patch on the tube on the inside of the tire or whatever, but I think it's just gonna be a waste of a couple $100. I did that 2 years ago, and obviously it did not hold. I believe there's something inside the rim, so we're gonna do it the right way. And as of now, we're not gonna mess with it. We're gonna get planning taken care of, and we'll tackle this at a later date so we can do it right and take our time. But as of now, we're gonna have to yank the wiring and the monitor out of the 986 and find a nice way to run it in the Magnum. Well, it's out. Now he's going to put it in the new one. That is such a pain in the ass. This wire is so rigid, the way it's wrapped. Alright, so I spent a little time tinkering around. So basically what I've pinned it down to here is I have the battery there. So I need to run these two, these red and white wires need to be power to the monitor. And then that bulkhead on the ground there, that's what goes right to the planter itself. So one wire, well, depending on where I was going to put it, after looking around a little bit, there is some factory grommet holes in the, I guess you'd call it the passenger side corner of the tractor. So that's where I intend to bring it up, is basically behind that muffler there through the floor. There's an oblong shaped rubber grommet. So I'm going to take that out, run the bulkhead up through it, and then I had a steel bracket itself, and then there's some, I think they're factory steel tabs in the pillar of this inside of the cab. I found one that's going to mount it okay-ish. I mean, it's right in my line of sight, so that kind of sucks. It's a little bit high, but based on time and the fact that I don't believe it's going to be in here forever, and just for this season, I'm just going to go ahead and mount it real quick. So I'm going to jump in the cab, take that out, run the wire through, mount the monitor, and then we will try and clean up where the wires are going to go. So one thing at a time. As I had mentioned, there is the access hole through the floor. It's just a steel plate that was bolted down by 2 screws. So I put the 1 screw back, took it out, loosened one up, and then slid that cover over underneath the floor mat. So we're going to try and mount this guy with this bracket on that guy right there. We're gonna try to, I got these half off. We're gonna try to get those wires. I ran over the middle of the frame here. We're gonna try and run it through that grommet hole, but I gotta do a little jungle gym work here. I'm good. The tractor inspector's here. What do you think, dude? You want to help? This is an international, not a cat. I believe the name of the game here is going to be just to kind of find a way to tuck it right through there. There's that body mount right through there. So, and then we'll find a place for all the slack. Most likely just going to kind of curl it up and snug it in there somewhere. But we got to get to this bulkhead right here. Shouldn't be too bad. Well, at this point in time, I'm gonna clean up some of the zip tie tails and clean up the inside of the cab. And then, geez, I think we're about ready to pour a bag of corn in, or 2 or 3 or 15, something like that. So I think we're ready to try her out. All right, well, I think I got the hydraulics and everything set up best I can. Luckily, the guy that owned the tractor before me knows his stuff about these types of tractors and kind of gave me a couple tips and tricks. So he's also pretty in the know about the type of planter that I have. Being that this is a air planter and it's a hydraulic driven air pump, that's a lot of demand on the hydraulic system. So what I used to do in the 986, because it was pretty much the only option to my knowledge, is basically you take the primary remote one and you pull it back and you basically bungee cord it wide open. And unfortunately, it builds a lot of heat in the hydraulic system. Granted, this has, like, I believe, like 3 or 4 times the capacity, so maybe it wouldn't be an issue. But the right way to do it is to go underneath. There's a valve down there underneath the cab here, and you tighten up the set screw and crack the valve, so that basically what that does is that when you open the primary remote, it keeps that pump running, but it doesn't return itself back when you pull it. So you don't have to put a bungee around it, and it bypasses the valve, which helps dissipate heat a little better. So either way, we have that set up. And then we have the other hydraulic, obviously, is just our raise and lower of the planter. So I think everything's good. We're gonna have to babysit the amount of hydraulic fluid. Like I said, the gallons per minute is much higher on this tractor than my 986, so I gotta watch the pressure. That tank, obviously this is an old planter, it's fiberglass, so I don't want to put too much air pressure in there and blow the damn thing apart. So I'm gonna babysit my RPMs and then watch the flow. I have the ability to control the hydraulic fluid in each individual remote, so I should be able to monitor that pressure really good. I can actually read the gauge from here. So we should be good to go. That's pretty much the only thing I have left. The monitor turns on. Hopefully everything functions. I did when I put it away last year. So right now I'm going to lower the planter and we're going to start throwing bags of corn in and get ready to rip for tomorrow. Well, couldn't help myself. We're gonna give it a try. We're only gonna do a little bit here, but just to see if everything's gonna work, or if we get any issues, then I can have time to sit on the couch tonight before I go to sleep and do a little research if I have to. So we're gonna give her hell. warning indicator I got is when I came to a stop, and that is a good sign. So I think everything's operating. We're gonna go back and take a look. We're gonna dig through the dirt a little bit and make sure we're where we wanna be. Well, I just checked that row, so now you come over here, you can kind of tell this closing wheel right here, this line, so it should be somewhere in here. You just got to do a little digging here. Sometimes they're hard to see. There's one. Some of them are green, some of them are purple. We got all kinds of. There's another one. Another one here. So we are planting. Can't really tell too much by that one there. Everything's functioning. Sweet. Oh, perfect. Ready to kick some butt. Generations are a little mixed up because the tractor's a bit newer, but oof, still a hell of a pretty picture. Let's hope it keeps going smooth. Good morning and welcome to another beautiful day in Wisconsin. So I got the planter set up yesterday. I got everything transitioned over from the 986 to the Magnum. Got our opening rounds done. I did 18 rows all the way around the whole perimeter of the field. Give myself plenty of room to turn around when I'm doing my long rows. But either way, I probably planted another, I don't know, Jaden hopped in and convinced me to go another probably 40 minutes here. So we got a pretty good section done here, everything from basically where I'm standing all the way at field edge and all the way to the end, and then like I said, 18 rows all the way around the whole field. So we got quite a bit done, and knock on wood, not an issue at all. It worked flawlessly, which I'm gonna eat my words. Typically after a nice wonderful evening like that, today's gonna be hell. So we're gonna hope, I don't like to be pessimistic all the time, but we're gonna hope today goes smooth. We're gonna fire the tractor up here, let it get nice and warm, get everything ready to rumble. Yeah, we're gonna try and plant, and if everything goes well, I will maybe plant at home for a couple hours here, try and find a good time where there's not a lot of traffic, and then we're gonna hop over to the rental ground, knock that out real quick, and then finish the afternoon off at home. And again, that's being very optimistic, hoping that everything goes smooth. So stay with me, we're gonna find out. Perfect. we're planting at about 5 miles an hour. I think it's about as far as you want to push an air planter. And normally I would only go about 4 to 4.5, just to be sure. But I got a really good prep seed bed here. I worked the heck out of this ground pretty good. Like I said, the last couple videos trying to get rid of the dead furrows and stuff. So it is extremely smooth and easy going. So I think we're safe cruising along here. I am watching my air pressure and things like that, but everything's looking good. So we're going to keep on clipping along. It's going to be a nice, beautiful day. If everything goes like this, it should go pretty quick. Well, we just got back in the shed here. My hopper light came on, so I was running short, which ballpark math, we should be about right on the money. I put half the seed in. I believe we have a little over half done at home here, but I gotta obviously run out to the rental ground. So we're gonna go do that now. So if I am short by any reason, which I hope I'm not, it's at home, not out across town. So we're gonna put some more corn in the planter and then take the drive chains off the sprockets, put it in road mode here, put our blocks underneath the hydraulic cylinders, head over there, put everything back on. We're gonna plant, and then we'll do it all again and come back home. It's kind of a pain, but it's not the end of the world. I've done it a bunch of times, so it actually goes pretty quick. I don't think the whole process will take more than like, I don't know, an hour to an hour and a half, give or take. So then we'll finish up the afternoon at home. But so far, everything is going super smooth. So let's hope it continues. Well, surprisingly enough, even though it's right about noon, there's almost no traffic, so we're going to count our blessings. I hate having to deal with traffic, especially on a Wisconsin rural road here. It's pretty narrow, so you kind of got to just own the whole thing. If you meet somebody, God forbid another tractor, you're in there. Well, we're clipping along pretty good. I'd say we're about half done with this ground here, and no issues so far. Pretty dry though, a lot of dust, so it is on the schedule to be some rain, hopefully a little chance tomorrow, but definitely a chance in 2 days from now. So hopefully we get it done and it can rain right away. It's about the best case scenario. So, and of course, well, at the end of that last clip, you did see the alarm going off. That was the first time. So unit 3 was plugged, so that's it's good. I don't even mind. It took me 2 seconds to clean it out. I just had a corn stalk shoved up inside the tube where the seed's coming out, and then no seed was coming out. So I think that's a blessing in disguise to know that everything's working. So yeah, it's good news. I don't mind. Well, everything is done here. We got one last pass headed towards the road, so then we'll be done. This only took about give or take about an hour. Pretty easy, just a lot of short rows, so that's what takes all the time. It's just a lot of turning around, but we'll get this place cleaned up, It's checked off the list. We'll head back home and finish her up there. We are back home. I got everything put back on. The drive chains are on. Markers are down, and we're back planting at home. So hopefully this will be the tail end of it. I do have a couple of bags left of corn at the shed, so I'm sure I'm going to run out eventually, but we should have enough to go for quite a while. So, well, we are on our last couple passes here. We're playing a little gamble game. The hopper warning keeps going off, on and off. We're on kind of a side hill at the end here, but so we're getting down to the wire. I don't have any seed left. I think I'm gonna have enough. It's really close. I just have to go to that fence. It's still pissed. So I have to make it to that fence, and I did 3 rounds, so I have 18 rows done along that whole edge, and it pies at this end, and it's really short back there. I'm thinking I'm gonna be able to do it. We'll find out. None of the rows have been failing yet, so we're gonna keep at it. I think we're gonna make it. I feel like this is the ending of Rocky when he's about to knock out Apollo, and Adrian goes, "You're gonna do it." We're so close, man. I mean, I got a pie piece damn near smaller than the tractor and planter, and we're gonna be done here. So we'll be able to clean up 2026 planting. A little bit of rough ground in front of me here. Look at that, 2026 complete. Whoop. Upsy daisy. Yeah, I've heard enough of you. Sweet. Well, we are done. Look at that. Done, done, done. And I believe there is a little bitty storm moving in that might bless us with a little bit of rain. All right, well, that is a wrap on the 2026 planting season. Thanks everybody for sticking around and watching. Despite some diversity, we managed to get her done virtually flawless, so I can't complain about that. Count my blessings. Thanks for watching, like, and subscribe. We're going to be jumping into some different stuff next week. We're probably going to go right to hopefully a dirt drag event, depending on the time this video posts and if I actually have time to do it. But that's my plan, get the little shorty Duramax out and get her toes wet for the season. And then after that, we're going to jump into some shop projects and deer hunting stuff. And yeah, we'll kind of be all over the board, but nevertheless, always busy. So thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. Thanks.